Thank you. I think I can scrub visas from the bit I'm talking about here, so I might be able to save some time on my speech. So I thought about a few different ways of approaching talking about this and landed on sharing some real-world experiences that I thought were good examples that might open up discussion and debate about the East Med becoming more of a tech hub. So to set the scene a little bit, introduce myself. I'm British-born, Greek Cypriot. I've been working in brokerage industry since 2002. Over the past 20 years, I've worked 12 years in the compliance part of the business and 8 years in commercial roles, the last 8 years. So the two examples I want to share with you. In 2014, I moved out to Dubai from London to set up a business for a UK FTSE 250 company, listed fintech brokerage firm. For the project, we landed on opening in the Dubai International Financial Centre. Over the next 4 years, we built that office into a successful multi-million-pound business. The reasons we chose to locate in the DIFC: first and foremost, a clear regulatory framework with an engaged regulator. Secondly, they had a solid legal and court system with very clear jurisdiction. Thirdly, a solid infrastructure, physical infrastructure, of offices, restaurants, hotels, housing, airports, flight routes, banks, those sorts of things. Then a solid digital infrastructure as well, so fast connections, multiple telecoms providers, reliable electricity sources, access to hardware, those sorts of things. Fifth, fast, efficient and reliable support services. I think that's one thing that we really have to underline. That needs to be available to help tech firms set up properly. The likes of government offices, so as you've covered, to issue visas and licenses, as well as regulatory consultants, law firms, legal consultants, and company registrars, all having to be commercially focused in what they do. Also, an engaged business development team from the DIFC. So actually, they approached us as a business and said, "We'd like you to be there." They invited us to come. They came to London to meet with us and invited us over to their country, and that's one of the reasons that we went there. We knew we had support at a government level that were encouraging us to be there. Lastly, for this particular business, probably the most important of the factors of choosing there were access to a wealthy client base. Clients who were digital savvy and had an appetite for our product. That's very specific to that business. So at the time I moved over to Dubai, I had been engaged in conversations with CySec for a couple of years, having first met the senior representatives, some of whom are here today, a CySec, an industry event, and I pitched internally for the next office opening to be in Cyprus. I was personally keen to spend time here and wanted to be part of the exciting and growing CFD industry that was a driver of growth and jobs at the time that Cyprus economy needed it. So bringing me on to my second example. Fortunately, I got the call in 2018 that the group I was working for needed to establish a new European regulated business, and I put forward the case for Cyprus again. We were building a pan-European multilateral trading facility and needed a market-making business. We could operate for 24/5, so 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, providing liquidity. We needed an EU license, a board, a good staff, and all the right facilities to support this kind of business. To me, Cyprus was the ideal place. I'd continued to develop conversations with CySec, and they understood the MTF model, and they knew why we were building this business. Cyprus had a deep pool of talent, to your points earlier. They knew trading, they were highly educated, spoke fluent English. In fact, we ended up hiring staff who had degrees in big data, statistics, maths, risk management, accounting, finance, all from top universities. Obviously, Cyprus is an EU member state. I don't need to say that, and we can operate on a pan-European basis. There was already a cluster of online brokers, albeit they were mostly retail CFD brokers. To some degree, Cyprus had all the good reasons that I listed in Dubai about physical and digital infrastructure. It didn't have a local market, and I do say to some degree because it has many of those things, but not to the scale that other places have today. And I think that's one of the things we can work on. Pretty important, Cyprus was somewhere that people were happy to spend time building a team, a business we could sell to people internally, a great secondment destination for skilled people that might need to relocate if we needed them to. I think this last point is particularly important. We can unpack it. Personal consideration, because building a tech hub isn't just about physical and digital infrastructure, it's about people. People need to run those businesses, and like many other tech hubs around the region, firms often have to fly in executives to work with local teams, build up knowledge, build up experience. Those executives lucky enough to pick and choose locations have personal considerations. They're often about the quality and standard of life, like the quality of schools, the amount of school places that are available, housing, restaurants, clubs, activities, variety of experiences that they're going to enjoy in that set location. One last thing that I noticed when comparing Dubai and Cyprus was that Dubai had successfully branded itself worldwide as a special place. It managed to attract tourists, investors, entrepreneurs, people from all over the world working in many sectors. Personally, I view Cyprus as a place that has much more to offer than the world currently knows about, and I'd really encourage everyone to get that message out there. Not much more. Still going.
Yeah, carry on.
So
carry on.
Just to close it down. So, of course, there are specific sectors that are going to be even more specialised parts of the digital infrastructure that need to be strengthened. I mean, I haven't gone into the technicals of why we put a trading firm here, access to data centres, trading latency, all those things. For big tech firms, I think there's a whole host of other things. People better qualified to talk about that, Meta, Amazon, so I'm not going to talk about that. How does Eastern Med get closer to the goal of becoming a better tech hub? In my view, building on the cluster of firms they have, bringing in more firms who are going to deepen the experience and talent pool by stretching the products and services that they offer. Firms that are already here, like CFD firms, insurance companies, fund management companies, electronic money institutions, maybe some online banks, crypto firms, verification firms, MTFs and exchanges. Lots of good work has been done over the last 10 years here in building the tech industry, and by pulling the levers that are available in regulation, law, government, they can really encourage business, and I think we can attract more and varied firms to the region.
Thank you.